God's blessings to everyone. This is a DGHradio.com news and information news update for the United States Virgin Islands, and I'm reporter DKS reporting the news for Saturday, September 27, 2025, covering the latest developments from across the United States Virgin Islands. Our top story, a major shift in policing. A superior court ruling says the smell of marijuana by itself can no longer justify a warrantless vehicle search in the Virgin Islands. The case arose from a traffic stop that led to firearms charges, but the court suppressed the evidence after finding odor alone no longer establishes probable cause under the territory's cannabis framework. Prosecutors then dismissed the charges. Police may still act on a combination of factors, visible contraband, impairment, or other evidence, but the era of odor-only searches is over. Question to consider: should prior convictions that leaned heavily on marijuana odor searches be re-examined? Why it matters. The ruling redraws everyday rights at traffic stops, curbs pretextual searches, and will reshape officer training territory-wide. Police reform progress. A federal judge says the Virgin Islands Police Department is on the right track toward ending a 16-year consent decree. Recent monitoring points to improvements in complaint handling, use of force reviews, and supervision. Work remains in sustaining consistent field practice and frontline coaching, but momentum is building. Question to consider: when court oversight ends, what local safeguards will prevent backsliding? Why it matters. Durable reform is about habits, not just policy binders. Transparency and accountability must outlive federal oversight. A high-stakes legal fight advances. The United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit will weigh whether federal prosecutors can revive the death penalty option in the Richardson Dangleben Jr. case. The district court barred capital punishment. The government seeks an interlocutory appeal while the defense challenges jurisdiction. Question to consider: should appeals courts entertain more pretrial challenges in capital-eligible cases to avoid retrials? Why it matters. The ruling will shape how federal capital issues are handled in territorial prosecutions. Territory finances on watch. With the federal fiscal year ending Monday night, a funding lapse would ripple through the islands. Essential functions continue, but furloughs and pauses in non-essential services could slow courts, grants, and reimbursements that support schools, nutrition programs, healthcare, and public safety. Agencies urge residents, contractors, and beneficiaries to check contingency guidance and confirm appointments. Question to consider: which local programs are most exposed to delayed federal reimbursements, and how should limited funds be prioritized if the lapse lingers? Why it matters. Federal dollars are woven into daily life here. Even short disruptions can strain families and small agencies. Tourism leadership. The West Indian Company Limited has brought back veteran executive Joseph Boschulte as president and chief executive officer to steer the Havenside cruise port through a busy season. Expect close attention to traffic flow, small merchant support, and environmental readiness such as cleaner fuels and shore power planning. Question to consider: should emissions and shore power milestones be baked into future berthing agreements? Why it matters. Cruise operations touch jobs, congestion, and the visitor experience that fuels our economy. Wastewater operations shift. Because of technical issues at the Mangrove Lagoon wastewater treatment plant, haulers are temporarily rerouted to the Cancrin pump station on St. Thomas during posted hours, with grease prohibited. The authority urges strict safety protocols while repairs proceed. Question to consider: what near-term steps best reduce odors, spills, and traffic near Cancrin during this shift? Why it matters. Resilient wastewater handling protects public health and coastal water quality. Environmental enforcement. Federal regulators ordered a St. Croix concrete and trucking facility to halt unpermitted discharges flowing toward Cane Garden Bay and to obtain proper permits with treatment and monitoring. Question to consider. Should discharge data near beaches be published on public dashboards? Why it matters. Clean water safeguards tourism, fishing, and community health. School safety and accountability. The family of a St. Croix educational complex student injured by a falling industrial ceiling fan in 2024 has sued the education department, the government, and a contractor, alleging negligent installation and oversight. Dozens of similar fans were previously removed pending reviews. Question to consider. Which classroom equipment should require independent inspection before students return? Why it matters. Clear standards and competent oversight are non-negotiable for safe learning environments. Crime and public safety updates. Detectives arrested a suspect tied to a 2023 armed robbery at Kings Alley on St. Croix after new leads surfaced. The case proceeds to advice of rights. Separately, investigators are probing the death of an unresponsive man found along Northside Road. Identity and cause await confirmation. Question to consider. What environmental design, lighting, cameras, sightlines best deters crime in busy corridors? Why it matters. Visible progress on cases and smart prevention measures build community confidence. Public spaces upgrade. Magens Bay Authority will reconstruct Bathhouse Number 1 to improve sanitation, accessibility, and visitor flow, likely phasing work to keep other facilities open. Question to consider. Which resilient water-saving features should be standard in beach park restrooms? Why it matters. Small infrastructure projects can make outsized differences in health, dignity, and our image to the world. Community and culture. The Women's Coalition of St. Croix hosted a National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims, an evening of names, stories, and calls for prevention and healing. On October 1st in Frederiksted, students from the St. Croix Educational Complex will stage Queen Mary and Dem, honoring the Fireburn Rebellion and presenting leadership awards that connect past courage to present service. At the University of the Virgin Islands, a deaf awareness program offers learning, performances, and discussions to advance inclusion. And a new Speak Life VI text service is sending confidential messages of encouragement and resource links ahead of November's Survivors of Suicide Loss Day gathering. Question to consider. How can we better support grieving families while strengthening prevention for our youth? Why it matters. Strong communities remember, include, and lift one another, especially in moments of loss. Sports Spotlight, hurdler Michelle Smith and sprinter Omar Simpson represented the territory at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. They did not advance but gained big stage experience heading into the next Olympic cycle. Question to consider. What single upgrade, track surfaces, timing systems, or coaching development would most accelerate local athletes? Why it matters. Investment in sport fuels health, pride, and pathways for our youth. Public advisory. Resource managers on St. Thomas are trying to recapture a first-generation savanna cat, an exotic hybrid with strong hunting instincts. Residents are urged to report sightings to authorities and secure small pets and poultry. Question to consider. Should exotic pet rules be tightened to protect native wildlife and neighborhoods? Why it matters. Responsible ownership prevents ecological harm and community risk. Regional Watch, Weather and Neighbors, emergency managers are tracking active tropical systems in the Atlantic. Residents should review hurricane kits and follow official advisories. In nearby British Virgin Islands developments, a job fair aims to connect residents with employers. The Buy BVI Trade Expo celebrated local entrepreneurship. Youth crime prevention is under review after a teen arrest. Schools are weighing a push for digital transformation. And the United Kingdom signaled it will withdraw a draft measure that once threatened local constitutional suspension. Question to consider. What lessons from past storm seasons and regional governance debates can strengthen our own resilience? Why it matters? Weather readiness and regional trends often foreshadow what reaches our shores. These and other issues are of great concern within the islands. What do you think are some good solutions? Let us know your thoughts by texting your comments to 1-315-898-1449. You can also join our WhatsApp group and get the news, weather, and other insightful information delivered right to your smartphone. To join, text JOIN to 1-315-898-1449. Please include your name in the text message. You will receive a call to verify your request. I'm your reporter, DKS, signing off for DGHradio.com. Remember, DKS and DGH, together we dream kindly, speak deeply, and give hope, because on DGHradio.com, the news never sleeps. Goodbye for now. Ciao.